a blind contour of the image you have on screen. Now, what I want you to do is this. I want you to put your finger on Abe Lincoln's face, kind of like we did with the feel where we touch our nose and our eye. But virtually, you're going to want to feel, draw, and at the same time, blind draw this subject. Now, it's open. You want to use pencil. You want to use pen. It's up to you. For this one, I'm going to use, I just changed my mind. I'm going to use pen. So I'm going to use a 05, the Micron pen. And I want to kind of set up a timer. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes. So it's not to rush you. The 5-minute clock is so you have a sense of, okay, it's not gonna be a hyper realistic. I'm gonna take my time with every single detail. This is, I'm looking, I just saw this person on the street, so I want to go ahead and sketch it. And keeping my eye, now obviously I can't put my finger, but I can, with my eyes, I can almost really use my eyes as my fingers as I see the volume, the contours, and feel like I'm actually touching my subject. Now, when I say blind drawing, you know what I mean. You can peek for half a second, 1 second, every 10, 15 seconds. If you can hold off and make it longer and longer, never look at the paper, even better. But it's okay to peek down, take a quick glance, make sure your pen and your lines are working the way you want them. Now, you want to make sure you keep them moving. Notice that I went all the way around, but I am mostly focusing on that feel technique where I actually feel like I'm putting my finger on the subject and getting a real true sense of the volume of the thing. Now I got a good contour here. I'm going to go ahead and take a peek, set my pen, and continue with a little more of a blind drawing. Now notice that my line is getting a little bit looser. My eye is moving around a little bit faster. And this is not about drawing fast, but it is a warm-up exercise. And it is kind of the way I hope you guys continue sketching, where you're going to get a sense of your subject. You're going to get an immediate read of the essential parts of your subject. What are the most important things? And can I capture this in 5 minutes? Well, you better make sure you're taking a quick look at what are the most descriptive features that will emphasize and give it likeness. What type of lines? Notice that I haven't even, it's mostly a continuous line. There's no hatching, no directional type of marking. Now, how do I deal with these? Well, I just break it down into shapes, forms. I don't think of it as lips. I think of it as darker and lighter, thinner, or thicker lines. Actually moving comfortably now. Making sure I'm really capturing all of those major features and making sure I avoid the things that I feel could be left out, if any. I feel like I pretty much captured almost everything I saw. And there are parts where my finger, and again, that field drawing, I may have gone a little too quick, so I might have skipped some of the features here and there. Didn't really try to make up any information. And I have a whole minute left. So when because I have a whole minute left, guess what? I'm just going to go right back to that thing I just showed you, where I have a little bit of watercolor ready to go. And I'm going to apply a little bit of shading and to those darker shadows that I see here and there. If you have the time, how far can you take your sketch? And do so in 5 minutes. But again, it's not about time. It's more about the feel. I could just grab my brush and just bring in watercolor. Directly on. And there we are. Time. I'll give you guys a few extra seconds as I add just a couple features here and there. And to give you guys a chance, if you were still drawing, to maybe touch it up with a little bit of watercolor. And again, it doesn't have to be black and white. You could go to color. And the amazing thing that I want you to get a sense of is, wow, that was just a 5-minute sketch. So now we're bringing in, arms and forearms and hands. So because I did the last one with ink, I'm going to do this one with pencil. And for this one, you know what? Let's go back to that clock. Just have it there. Give me kind of a sense of where we are. Now, what am I going to try to do here? You're going to try to, again, get that feel that I want you to get. Whether my biggest tip to you is the more you are looking at your reference, the more you're going to actually capture from it. If you're looking at your paper longer than you're looking at your subject, you're making up information. So I want you to really catch yourself. How long am I looking at the subject compared to how long I'm looking at my paper? And make sure that you're looking at the subject longer than you're looking at your paper, okay? That's one of the reasons you know it's only going to be on screen for 5 minutes, so you want to take a good look at it. And here we are. So for this one, just because I want to challenge myself, I'm going to do this one left-handed. I'm right-handed usually, so I'm going to do it left-handed, and I'm going to go blind contour as much as I can as well. And it's just because it's going to be one of those observational exercises. Now, usually when I'm left-handed, my line gets really broken, but really jittery and really expressive. So I can actually speed it up a little bit. Usually that is because it gets a little bit slower. So I am looking 90 to 95% of the time at the subject. At the subject. But I am coming down to my paper just to make sure I maintain proportion. Because when I'm left-handed, as you can see, my line, I call it, it's more delicious. It just looks so, it feels good. The way I'm holding the pencil as well, holding it a little bit longer, not all the way at the tip, but all the way back. So I can make that line just even more expressive, more broken. What I mean by more broken, it's more jittery actually. And I'm trying to get that contour. And once again, what are the features here that stand out? How am I really observing and taking in the information? Now the next thing that I want to show you is, or that you need to look at is, we just did somewhat of a portrait. Although this is also considered a portrait, we have kind of a bust. So you could see if we could we could see his belly button. So we're doing a different kind of shot. He's still close, but we see a little more. If you remember, we had Abe Lincoln, and we could only see up to his chest. So how do I define and how do I choose the information that I'm selecting to lay down? Well, I try to stay true to what I see. And these types of exercises, if you've never tried it before, I think these type of exercises, it is the perfect opportunity for you to discover things about the way you see when you try to draw. And drawing with your left hand if you're right-handed, you would draw with your right hand if you're left-handed, by the way. It helps you discover so many fascinating things. And the more you give it a chance, you got to give it a chance. It doesn't happen on the first one. It may take a few, 5, 6, 10 of them. You can't give up on it. Eventually, you'll discover a sensibility. That's the word. Now, drawing hands and fingers. Usually, you have to stay with the line and just... I'm doing this blind contour 100%. I feel like I'm really close to the edge of the paper, so I might have to look down. And I knew it. I felt it. So I just continue 100% blind. And there's the gesture of the hand as I saw it. Just follow the line. And in the end, what I want to do is just capture that gesture. And one of the things I'm going to go ahead and do here is just add the typography, the text, and kind of draw it in. Now, it may not be perfect. You'll see that, trying to draw letters with your left hand, it's a little harder than it seems. There we are. But this is about discovering mark making. How do I make my marks, pencil mark, pen marks, left-handed marks? And I got to tell you, I'm really happy with these. I practice them a lot. I actually use my left hand to draw and paint pretty much every day. So you get more and more used to it. You're going to have better and better results.